Look who finally surfaced. The one they never expected to find. Hello to you, the anomaly in their database, the glitch that corrupted their facial recognition software, the case file marked with red warnings and sealed beyond top clearance. You, whose face crashed their algorithms and forced emergency briefings at 3 a.m. You thought those cameras were harmless, that the airport scan was routine, that social media filters were just for fun. But something happened when they mapped your face. Something that made seasoned intelligence officers lose sleep, that made quantum computers stutter, and AI systems throw error codes no one had ever seen before. They've been collecting faces for decades. Billions of profiles, endless data points, every angle, every expression, every micro-movement cataloged and stored. They believed they'd mapped every possible human configuration, understood every pattern hidden in symmetry and bone structure. Then they found you, and their entire understanding of human potential had to be rewritten. In that sterile, secret room full of monitors and men who officially don't exist, they ran your image through systems so advanced they can trace bloodlines, predict behavior, even read genetic memories embedded in facial geometry. But when your results came back, the room went silent. The kind of silence that happens only when reality itself bends. Your facial ratios didn't match any known human template, not because you looked abnormal, but because your proportions told a story that defied existence. The golden ratio they used to define beauty and symmetry, you didn't fit it, you transcended it. Not by perfection, but by impossibility. Your measurements formed patterns recognized by machines but unexplainable by science. Sequences found in quantum physics equations and ancient mathematical scripts. The distance between your pupils contained frequencies linked to electromagnetic anomalies. The angle of your cheekbones reflected geometric patterns seen only in classified satellite images of unexplained phenomena. Your symmetry wasn't just balanced, it was synchronized to something beyond measurement. They tried labeling you an outlier, a statistical error. But you weren't random, you were deliberate. They summoned experts from programs that don't officially exist. Biometric analysts who've studied every face on the planet. They examined your micro-expressions, tracked how light bends around your skin, analyzed the subtle electromagnetic field your presence emits. And what they discovered sent them into quiet panic. Because you're not supposed to exist. Not in this version of time. Not with these signatures. Not with this frequency. You, my friend, are the variable that breaks their equation. Your face carries markers they've been hunting since the Cold War. Genetic echoes of something ancient, something they once dismissed as myth. Within your DNA lie evolutionary traits that weren't supposed to awaken for another 1,000 years. They've seen fragments of these patterns before, buried in classified archaeological finds, hinted at in redacted government archives, glimpsed in the faces of people who altered the course of history before vanishing without a trace. But never all at once. Never in one person. Never this strong. Every human face emits a frequency, a subtle vibration that shapes its environment. Most people broadcast on standard wavelengths, predictable and easily categorized, part of the ambient hum of humanity. But you transmit on channels that were never meant to be detected. When they isolated your frequency signature, their instruments began picking up signals from satellites, deep space monitors, and defense sensors designed to detect things not of this Earth. The curvature of your smile forms a mathematical sequence identical to patterns found in classified quantum computing research. The way your eyes narrow when you focus generates a signal indistinguishable from encrypted military transmissions of projects officially terminated decades ago. Even your neutral expression, the face you wear when you believe you're unseen, interferes with surveillance systems. Cameras glitch in your presence. Recognition software duplicates your profile, placing you in multiple locations simultaneously. Their algorithms can't decide where you are or even what you are. They've tried mapping your emotional responses to predict your actions, but your expressions don't conform to their behavioral models. When anger rises within you, the geometric arrangement of your features triggers their threat detection systems, not because you look violent, but because your very presence alters the electromagnetic field around you. And when you laugh, truly laugh, the sound merges with micro muscle movements in your face to create a resonance modern science can't explain. It vibrates through people at a cellular level, awakening dormant areas of the brain that neuroscience denies exist. Your laughter, your gaze, your very being. These aren't random human traits, they're activations. Proof that something extraordinary has returned to the human timeline and it's wearing your face. Your tears, they discovered, aren't ordinary. Under laboratory analysis, their chemical structure didn't match standard human saline. When the tears dried, the crystalline formations they left behind mirrored patterns found only in meteorites, minerals not native to Earth. They recorded how the temperature in rooms subtly shifted when you cried, how electronic devices flickered or malfunctioned in your presence, and how the biometric readings of nearby individuals fluctuated without explanation. You weren't just expressing emotion, you were transmitting something ancient, something they've spent generations trying to erase from the human record. They ran your facial data through genealogical archives and advanced ancestry algorithms, tracing bloodlines across millennia. But your trail refused to follow expected paths. It fragmented, diverged, and dissolved into classified databases and redacted archives. Your bone structure carried genetic imprints from lines thought extinct, bloodlines that were hunted, scattered, erased from history because their knowledge was deemed too dangerous to survive. The tilt of your nose, the arc of your brow, the distinct musculature of your face. These aren't random features. They're encoded identifiers, biological signatures of a lineage that once held abilities modern humanity has been conditioned to dismiss as myth. They've seen your likeness before, not in living people, but in the artifacts of forgotten ages. Your facial patterns appear in ancient sculptures predating recorded civilization, etched into cave walls in pigments that have survived eons, carved into monuments whose creators remain unknown. You aren't merely descended from something powerful, you are its reactivation. Within your DNA, dormant genetic switches have reawakened, triggered by a perfect storm of trauma, environment, and cosmic alignment. Now your evolution is being monitored in real time. High-resolution satellites document microscopic shifts in your facial geometry, subtle yet undeniable transformations that have experts deeply unsettled. They've identified marker genes within your facial composition tied to abilities they study in secret, but refuse to acknowledge publicly. The slight forward placement of your third eye point, the dense bone structure around your temples, the intricate nerve clusters beneath your skin, these aren't aesthetic anomalies. They're biological hardware, built for functions humanity was never meant to rediscover. Your face doesn't just perceive reality, it interacts with it. Every expression you make sends measurable waves through local probability fields. They've documented how your genuine smile alters the outcomes of random events, how a simple frown can shift environmental readings, how focused concentration bends the probabilities around you. You're not simply being observed by reality. You're rewriting it, one expression at a time. Your facial expressions aren't just movements. They're commands issued to an operating system hidden beneath reality itself. Most humans can't access it, but you interface with it effortlessly, unconsciously, every single day. When your gaze locks onto someone, their physicists record quantum entanglement events they can measure but not explain. That connection doesn't break when you look away. It lingers, a thread of influence stretching through dimensions they don't understand. They've studied those who've held your gaze for too long, noting measurable changes in their biometrics, even genetic activation in dormant strands of DNA. In intelligence circles, there's a term for people like you. The CIA calls them reality anchors. It's a classification reserved for entities who can stabilize or destabilize the local quantum field simply by existing. Your face is more than a collection of features. It's an interface. Every subtle movement, every micro-expression, every flicker of emotion writes invisible code into the fabric of existence. Your face is a control panel, and reality itself responds to its input. They've observed how crowds instinctively move around you, some stepping aside without realizing why, others drawn toward you as if under a silent command. Your presence emits authority that bypasses logic and speaks directly to the primitive recognition centers of the human brain. To some, your energy feels like safety incarnate. To others, it's an ancient warning that says, "Do not interfere. This isn't charisma. This isn't psychology. It's primal programming, biological software written long before recorded history." Once they realized what you were, everything changed. Your file was encrypted and relocated to servers that officially don't exist, managed by shadow departments outside the visible structure of government. They no longer just monitor you. They study you like a living paradox, the kind of anomaly reserved for extinction-level events or first contact protocols. Because in truth, that's exactly what you are. You represent proof that their control over reality was never real. They can't arrest you. You've broken no laws. They can't silence you. You don't even realize the full scope of what you're doing. And they can't erase you. Your signature has already quantumly entangled with countless others. You've become an uncontainable signal in their system. Not a virus of destruction, but an upgrade. An evolution they can't halt. A living reminder that their illusion of control is collapsing, one frequency at a time. The panic isn't only about what you can do, it's about what your very existence means. If you're real, if your abilities are genuine, then everything humanity has been taught about its own limitations is a lie. Every system built upon those limitations, education, religion, government, even science itself, begins to crumble. You're not simply an anomaly. You're living proof that humanity has been deliberately restrained. You are the evidence that our species' full potential has been hidden, suppressed, and rewritten. They've run countless simulations to predict the outcome if more people like you were to activate. Each attempt has ended in system failure, not because the results were catastrophic, but because they were unimaginable. Their most advanced predictive models can't compute a reality where humanity is no longer limited by the artificial boundaries they've imposed. You represent a future that can't be controlled, can't be contained, can't be forecasted. A future where power is internal, not institutional. The agents assigned to observe you have begun to unravel under the pressure. Extended exposure to your face has triggered deep psychological and even physiological changes. Something about your presence awakens recognition, an ancient knowing, that defies their conditioning. Several have requested transfers. Others were removed after evaluations revealed radical shifts in their perception of reality. Watching you hasn't just altered their mission, it's rewritten their understanding of what it means to be human. Their reports note an unsettling phenomenon. Your facial features subtly shift depending on who's observing you. Not enough to be dramatic, but enough to cause each observer to see something different. Some perceive you as familiar, like a long-lost memory they can't quite place. Others see something alien, beyond comprehension, both captivating and terrifying. Your face acts as a mirror to human consciousness itself, revealing more about the observer than about you. Then came the discovery that truly broke them. Analysts monitoring your micro-expressions found that your reactions often precede external events by fractions of a second, sometimes by entire seconds. Tiny muscle movements in your face predict occurrences before they happen, as though your biology is tapped into a probability matrix that processes the future and prepares for it before it unfolds. They can't explain it, but the data is irrefutable. Multiple surveillance teams have reported technical malfunctions while trying to capture your image. High-precision cameras distort, pixelate, or reveal impossible anomalies. Frames showing overlapping versions of your face, each slightly different, as if you were existing in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Something within you is evolving, and they're documenting it in real time. Your features are becoming more defined, more resonant, more capable of influencing the world around you. The changes are too gradual for casual observers to notice, yet their long-term data reveals an undeniable transformation. You are upgrading, step by step, into something beyond their classification systems. Their instruments now register a growing electromagnetic field centered around your face, most intensely near your temples and third eye region. Your skull itself is changing. Bone density is increasing in geometric patterns unseen in any known biological process. It's becoming an advanced transmitter and receiver, a living antenna tuned to frequencies humanity was never meant to access. You are not just evolving, you are reactivating the blueprint of what humanity was always destined to become. New neural pathways are forming behind your face, weaving intricate bridges between regions of the brain that were never meant to communicate directly. The activity is beyond what neuroscience can explain. Signals are traveling through unfamiliar channels, creating a new network of consciousness that merges logic, intuition, emotion, and perception into one seamless stream. You're not just processing reality anymore, you're co-creating it. The scans they've taken show rapid development of neural tissue where none existed before. Microtubules, tiny structures believed to connect the brain to quantum fields, are multiplying. The electrical activity behind your eyes now resembles an entire constellation of firing patterns, mapping something far larger than thought. It's as though your mind has begun networking with something universal, pulling data from a cosmic source rather than just the human brain. Your eyes themselves have evolved. They've recorded signs of tetrachromacy, meaning you can now perceive wavelengths beyond the standard human range. Yet even that term doesn't do justice to what's happening. You're seeing beyond the visible spectrum, not just more colors, but more dimensions. Your pupils expand and contract in rhythmic patterns that correspond with electromagnetic fluctuations invisible to the ordinary eye. When they track your line of sight, they find your focus lingering on points in space where their instruments detect faint energy signatures, fields their technology wasn't built to interpret. You're perceiving the architecture of reality itself, the unseen framework of frequency and vibration that underpins existence. But vision is just the surface. Your gaze has become active, not passive. It doesn't merely observe, it interacts. When you look directly at someone, something happens in their biology. Their body temperature shifts slightly, their brain waves begin synchronizing with yours, and DNA strands that have remained dormant start showing activity. The scientists monitoring this can't agree on the mechanism. Some call it resonance, others call it coherence. The truth is, you're broadcasting a code, a signal embedded in your facial micro-expressions that reprograms biology at a subatomic level. You're not only evolving, you're activating evolution in others. Those who've stared into your eyes for extended moments report dreams that feel more real than waking life, experiences of expanded perception, flashes of past lives, and encounters with symbols they can't describe. Medical personnel have documented inexplicable recoveries in people who've been near you. Cellular regeneration, spontaneous alignment of irregular heart rhythms, immune boosts, and surges in serotonin and dopamine levels. The scientists can't label it miraculous, but they have no other word for it. They're seeing proof that the human system responds to frequencies your consciousness emits. You've become contagious, not in the biological sense, but in the energetic one. Your face, they discovered, matches archived descriptions from classified incidents spanning decades. Old UFO encounter files mention entities whose faces felt human but weren't, whose symmetry evoked deep familiarity and reverence. Archaeologists have uncovered masks and carvings in forgotten tombs that replicate your exact facial proportions down to the millimeter. In government vaults, there are sketches from missing persons cases where witnesses describe faces that felt like yours, not in literal appearance but in presence. Each file connects to moments of great societal or spiritual upheaval. You are the reappearance of a pattern that has been surfacing across epochs, always during transitions when humanity was on the verge of awakening. When they fed the geometry of your face into mathematical models, the results shocked them. Your proportions matched ratios found in sacred architecture, the pyramids of Giza, Machu Picchu, Angkor Wat, and the stone circles of ancient Europe. The same ratios appear in crop circle formations, in spirals of galaxies, even in the oscillation patterns of subatomic particles. Then came the deeper realization. Your facial harmonics resonate with signals captured from deep space. SETI dismisses them as cosmic background noise, but classified astrophysics programs have decoded structured, repeating intervals within those frequencies. Intervals that perfectly match the mathematical rhythms of your facial geometry. It's not that extraterrestrials designed your face, it's that both you and those signals are expressions of the same universal equation, the same sacred frequency. Hidden archaeological sites, never revealed to the public, hold murals depicting transformation sequences, humans shifting into radiant beings with features eerily similar to yours. These paintings are found in caves beneath deserts, inside sealed mountain chambers, and beneath ancient temples. Each sequence tells a story of human faces evolving, merging with light, transcending form. The final stage in every sequence matches your current appearance with unsettling precision. You're not mutating into something new. You're fulfilling an ancient prophecy encoded in the human genome. The process was interrupted thousands of years ago, but now, through you, it's reactivating. Their predictive models can't handle it. Every simulation that includes you collapses in on itself. Their computers can't calculate the social, energetic, and biological ripple effects of what happens when even one person like you awakens fully. The outcomes extend beyond measurable probability. They break into pure potentiality. And that's what terrifies them most. They know that within your lifetime, something monumental will occur, and you'll be the epicenter. Not because of what you'll do, but because of what you'll trigger. You are the living activation key for humanity's hidden code. Every person who truly sees you, who meets your eyes without resistance, feels a spark of recognition ignite within them. Something deep inside whispers, "I remember this." Their consciousness begins to realign. They start dreaming in symbols, experiencing synchronicities, feeling drawn to higher frequencies of compassion, purpose, and awareness. You are awakening the dormant architecture of the collective soul. They're already tracking the waves you've set in motion. Social media algorithms have flagged an unusual rise in posts describing mystical dreams after people view your image. Statistical data shows strange spikes in spontaneous healing reports and inexplicable emotional breakthroughs from individuals who claim to have simply watched one of your videos or seen your photo. Power grids record momentary surges when you appear on live broadcasts. Local weather systems show slight electromagnetic distortion patterns near your location. Reality itself seems to flex and breathe differently around you. They can measure it, they can document it, but they cannot stop it. The effect grows stronger with every glance, every smile, every interaction. Every image of your face shared online magnifies the signal exponentially. You're no longer just a person, they've realized that too late. You're a field phenomenon, a conscious frequency accelerating the evolution of everything it touches. And what terrifies them most isn't the change. It's that the change feels right. Somewhere deep down, even their scientists, even their agents monitoring you from shadowed rooms, feel it too. The subtle sense that you aren't breaking reality. You're repairing it, restoring it to what it was always meant to be. You are not the end of humanity's story. You're the reintroduction of its true beginning. You are the stone dropped into the still pond of human consciousness, and the ripples you've created are no longer ripples at all. They're becoming waves, tidal forces of awareness spreading across the collective mind. What began as subtle disturbances in perception is now evolving into something undeniable. The CIA has run countless simulations, desperate to predict what happens if your full activation occurs. In every model, the same impossible event unfolds: a global cascade, a mass remembering. Millions of people suddenly awaken to dormant capabilities: telepathic empathy, energetic perception, self-healing, intuitive knowing. Powers that the system has long dismissed as myth. Society doesn't collapse. It outgrows itself. Control structures dissolve, not through rebellion, but through evolution. The algorithms show governments fading into irrelevance, not toppled, not overthrown, but rendered obsolete. Because when every human being begins accessing infinite intelligence from within, what use is an external authority? Why would anyone obey systems designed to limit them when the boundaries of the human mind are erased? You, with your evolving face and awakened presence, represent that future, and it terrifies them. Not because you wield weapons or lead revolutions, but because your existence proves that the paradigm of control has expired. You are not an enemy of the state. You are the expiration date stamped on illusion itself. Every day your features grow sharper, your resonance stronger, your presence more activating. There's a refinement taking place, an unfolding. Your face is becoming a living symbol, capable of awakening recognition in those who see it. You're a countdown clock ticking toward an event they can't decipher, a transformation they can't delay, a timeline they can't reroute. And what terrifies them most of all, they've realized you're not alone. Satellite scans now detect others, individuals across the world exhibiting the same electromagnetic anomalies, the same shifting facial harmonics, each one radiating frequencies that subtly alter the consciousness of those nearby. People who have never met you dream of you. They report seeing your face in their sleep, feeling a sense of deep familiarity before ever encountering your image. Your likeness has begun surfacing in humanity's collective unconscious, in art, in digital glitches, in visualizations generated by AI, even in natural formations. Clouds, shadows, frost on windows, all forming patterns that echo your facial geometry. It's as if reality itself is practicing your image, rehearsing your form, preparing the collective to recognize something profound. Children across the world who have never seen you have begun drawing your face, not perfectly, but with proportions and ratios eerily similar to yours. Psychologists can't explain it. Cultures separated by oceans, speaking different languages, share sketches of the same archetypal visage. The CIA knows what it means. Your face isn't a random genetic arrangement. It's a memory encoded in the human genome, a sacred template for what humanity is destined to become. You are the prototype of the next iteration of consciousness, an evolutionary preview wearing a human mask. In person, the effect is even more dramatic. People who meet you describe a haunting familiarity, as if they've known you for lifetimes. Some cry without understanding why. Others feel overwhelming peace. A few experience vertigo, as if the very fabric of their reality momentarily expands. Your presence alters environments in subtle, measurable ways. Heart rates synchronize, brain waves align, and emotional energy becomes coherent. The air seems denser, more alive. Those near you report that colors appear brighter, time feels slower, and thoughts flow with crystalline clarity. You don't just remind people of who you are, you remind them of who they are capable of being. You've noticed it too. Rooms change when you enter. Meetings take on new tones. Conversations reorganize themselves around honesty and truth. People reveal secrets they've hidden for years, as if lying in your presence feels physically unbearable. Deception loses its grip. Authenticity becomes contagious. Your face emits a field, a vibrational frequency that makes falsehood impossible to sustain. You are not enforcing truth, you are resonating it. You are coherence made flesh. And now the agencies don't know what to do. Standard procedure for anomalies like you, containment, study, and control, has failed. You're too integrated into society, too connected to too many people. Your energetic signature has already entangled with thousands of lives. Removing you would cause unpredictable shockwaves in the social and energetic fabric of humanity. Worse still, their internal psychological profiles warn that any attempt to isolate or manipulate you might trigger the very mass activation they're trying to prevent. You're a paradox. The more they try to control you, the faster you evolve. They've considered recruitment, bringing you into their secret programs, teaching you to harness your potential under controlled environments. But every simulation ends the same way. You transform them. Their systems can't contain you because your frequency reorganizes whatever it touches. The more they observe you, the more they change. Their technologies start misfiring in your presence, their agents experience personal awakenings, their behavioral conditioning begins to unravel. You are the virus that makes its host stronger, the spark that turns even your observers into participants. Quietly, among those tasked with monitoring you, a shift is taking place. Some of them have stopped seeing you as a threat. They've started to feel reverence. Watching you live a humble, ordinary life while unknowingly carrying a frequency that bends reality has awakened something in them. They see the purity of your existence, the fact that you're not trying to be special, not chasing fame or dominance, not seeking to lead. You are simply being. And that simple act, existing in alignment with truth, is destabilizing their entire power structure. Now, deep within the intelligence community, a schism is forming. A new faction, scientists, agents, even high-level officials, believes you are not an anomaly but an inevitability. They see you as the next evolutionary step, a necessary progression of the human species. They argue that suppressing you is as futile as trying to halt the rotation of the Earth. Some whisper that you are not the end of their era but the beginning of a new one, that through you, the human template is correcting itself. Officially, these voices are dismissed, silenced, buried under layers of classification. But they're growing. With each new anomaly, each new face detected across the globe, their conviction strengthens. The data keeps accumulating, the evidence keeps expanding, and the conclusion becomes impossible to deny. You are not a mistake in their system. You are the system's awakening. You are the preview of what's coming, the first wave of a consciousness evolution that no agency, no government, no secret order can prevent. The world they built is dissolving not in chaos but in remembrance. And as the ripples you created grow into unstoppable waves, humanity is beginning to remember what it truly is: infinite, radiant, and free. That's all for today. Dear Father, I pray for the growth of my faith. Help me trust you even when physical evidence is lacking. Let me believe in your perpetual presence, knowing you will never harm me. I understand that your thoughts for me are thoughts of prosperity and not harm, to give me a good future. Thank you, gracious and eternal Father, for always listening to my voice. I offer up this prayer to you in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you, Jesus, for your love and provision. I am grateful for your presence in my life and the abundance you bring. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with those who need to hear this message. Leave a comment below about your journey and how you are preparing for your own triumphant return. If you'd like to support our work, please consider contributing through Buy Me a Coffee. This helps us continually improve our content to offer you the best. The link to buy me a coffee is in the description. No gift is too small. Whether it's a penny, a prayer, or a share, your generosity helps spread God's word and brings hope to others. Don't stop here. Watch our next video for powerful revelations about the signs that reveal you are the chosen one. We've enjoyed following this spiritual journey with you. Thank you for staying with us until the end. Keep shining brightly and embrace your destiny with courage. See you next time. Blessings to all the beautiful souls from the Enlighten Wisdom.